Hey guys, D&D here. Hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to go through how to make Drake samples from scratch and go through the whole beat making process. More specifically, I'm going to go through Drake's hip hop / trap sound. I'm going to go through that beat that you've heard in the intro and kind of break down what I did to get that end product. You've probably noticed that this beat sounds a little familiar. I've kind of used Fair Trade as a reference track. Obviously the track with Travis and Drake, and I've used that kind of as a reference to kind of make this beat. So as you can see, it's at a similar BPM. This is in a different key, but it's overall that kind of sound. And yeah, let's get straight into it. Also, I apologize for my voice and if I sound a bit congested. I'm just a bit sick at the moment. Feeling better, getting through it. But yeah, still gonna make this video, and I'm still gonna show you how I've kind of got to that end beat. Also, this beat is currently on my YouTube. I'll link it in the description. It is free. So of any of you artists or even producers that want to use the sample specifically, or artists that want to rap on it, whatever, this beat is free. All you have to do is just credit me, Prod by DNZ, and just send me a DM of what you guys come up with. I'm always happy to listen to what you guys. That's the beauty of producing. Yeah, let's get straight into the video. Okay, let's get straight into the first sound. So to start off, all I did was just got a strings pad from Analog Lab. Analog Lab's one of the best VSTs out there, especially for you beginner producers. It's got very nice just presets, so you don't have to go into too much sound design, and you can just get whatever you want from there. So basically all I did was just an F chord, right? Just a normal F minor chord. And all I've done here is, you can see this one, all I've done here is just move the 4 semitones down and pitched up the bottom note up an octave. This is a very common chord progression in dark trap beats. It is used a lot by Metro Boomin, used a lot for 21 Savage beats, and all it does is just create that dark atmosphere, so you can get that nice trap sound. And then yeah, just more simple chords here. So just moved up 1 and then moved down 3. So basically, this is how the preset sounds without any effects. Now let's get into effects. So basically all I've done for this one is I've added an EQ, just cut out most of the highs and the lows. Then I've added a chorus, just a subtle chorus. Again, this is my favorite chorus preset, the June 6 chorus presets. Like probably it's the most common preset I use. Most common VST I use for my effects, and I've just added reverb to kind of give it that pad the width. And then I've added a bit of retro color, just to add a bit of effects, make it sound a little more interesting. Nothing too crazy, and this is how it sounds. How it sounds with all the effects. Alright guys, for the second sound, all I've done is just layered those exact same chords. I've used an organ from Analog Lab. It's called Close to Home. It's from Dylan XO's kit. I can't remember which specific kit. I think it was his XO kit. But Dylan is he's a very good producer YouTuber. You should definitely check him out. He's probably one of the best out there. I've used his synth organ to kind of fill out that kind of more high-end sound and kind of just make that pad sound like a bit deeper. This is how the preset sounds without effects. So now for the effects, all I've done is basically I've slapped on an EQ. Again, taking out some of that. It's got a little more high end than the strings pad, but I took out that low and high end, and then I've just added reverb again for that width, and then another chorus. Yeah, you can tell I love my reverb and chorus. but this is how the sound how it sounds with all the effects. So lastly, all I've done is I've just added a sub bass, just following the root notes of the chords I placed down previously, and it sounds like this without effects. Now for the effects, all I've added was just an EQ. You'll see it now. All it is I've basically just taken that high end out completely. All this bass was just to fill out that low end, and all it is just there, literally just to fill out that low end. The bass is a sub bass, so it should just be in the background. It shouldn't be overpowering at all. So again, we keep it simple. Just an EQ. I've highed the volume a little bit on the mixer channel, but that's about it. No need to start adding distortion and clipper and overdrive, and just all the basses in this beat is just to be kind of like a background sound. And yeah, so for the vocal sample, all I've done is I got this sample from Splice, and I've half timed it. So I've stretched it out to 17 bars instead of 9, and it gives me this. That sample was in A sharp minor, so all I've done is basically pitched it up 700 cents, so it fits within the key of F minor, so it fits into the key of the chords. And basically I've added no effects. You'll see why later. I feel like I felt like it sounded perfect as it is. I didn't need to EQ because we're gonna cut the sample rate later anyway. So yeah, I pitched it up 700 cents, and I've kind of chopped it up in like a main chop. Yeah, and the chops sound like this. So yeah, as I said, no effects, and now we're going to get into the sample rate and kind of consolidating and getting that final product. So finally, all I've done was I consolidated both pads and the vocals into one track. The way you can do this is just you select the tracks, and then I think it's Command Option C for Mac, and I believe it's Control Shift C or Control Alt C on Windows. So basically all this does is consolidates all the sounds into one track, into like one kind of loop, and I've basically stretched it out to 17 bars. So I've kind of made one 17 bar loop. So as you saw before, that layout, all I've done is Control Option C and then put it into one track. And the thing is, I did not include the bass. I thought I'd keep the bass separate in case I wanted to switch up the patterns. I never ended up doing that, but I thought, I don't know, I just didn't include it. So basically, all I've done now is I've cut the sample rate. So the way you do this is you open Editor in Audio Editor, so in Edison, and you right click up here. So you can see I've already changed the sample rate. The sample rate now is at 2,500. Previously, it would have been at 44,100, and I've just cut that down. Basically, all this does is it cuts out all the high end. So basically, it leaves room for the drums, for the artist to do their thing, right? So there's not that high end's not getting filled out by the melody, and it kind of gives it that underwater effect. This is big in Drake's production. Drake's producers are well known for doing this, as it kind of gives Drake a lot of room. That's why his beats are just so simple, and his vocals are dominate the actual track, rather than the melody. And the melody is just kind of in the back with the drums. So yeah, and then I did decide to pitch it down to 100 cents. I don't know, I just thought it sounded better, so that would have put it down to a D sharp minor. So that means the bass, I've had to pitch it down 2 cents as well. So now you can see the root notes are down by 200. Yeah, so basically now this is what the sample sounds like now. Alright guys, so now finally I'm just going to get into the drums I've used. So basically I've just kept it super simple, no 808, just a kick, hi-hat and a snare and a rim, right? So basically I've got this rim shot from, this is all from Max's drum kit, I think it's V9. Basically, because our reference track was a fair trade, I've used this rim shot to kind of give, like, it's very similar to a fair trade in a sense where they've got that rim hitting where the snare usually hits. I'll play it out and let you guys hear for yourself. So yeah, just very simple, just like almost identical to fair trade, just a rim shot with a little bit of reverb and just kind of like a counter hit on after every third hit. Yeah, just same drum loop throughout the song. Again, keep it simple. Now let's get on to the next drum sound. So now for the kick sound, all I've done is just got a simple kick and I've just kind of spread it around that rim we've used for the snare. And all I've done is I've basically side chained it to the bass. So it kind of punches through that bass. So every time the kick hits, the bass will go down, as you can see here. So that's the bass channel. So it kind of, all this does is give that kick so the frequencies don't clash, so the low ends don't clash, sorry. And all it is basically, it just makes that kick pop without just that clean, it just cleanly goes through the beat, through the bass. How you do this is just through a Fruity Peak controller, and you can see that's the kick, the green is the bass, and that's the kick pushing through that bass. It just makes everything sound a lot cleaner in the mix. And yeah, and I kind of added a soft clipper just for an extra boost. But that's about it for the kick. I'll let you listen to the pattern. Now for the kick, and the bass, I want to show you how the side chaining works. So I'll mute every other track and you'll see what I mean when the kick bounces through. So we'll listen to the bass on its own. All right, so now once the kick hits, the bass goes down on every kick hit. So the kick goes through that bass and it just makes everything sound so much cleaner. See how both sounds aren't clashing. Otherwise, if you were, let's turn off the peak controller, it just sounds very muddy. You can already tell it doesn't sound as nice, but we put the peak controller on and the volume goes down and the kick kind of chops through that bass. And yeah, now on to the next drum sound. So now, hi-hat. Basically all I started off with a 2-step hi-hat pattern, randomized the velocities and just kept it very simple. Added a couple rolls and a couple changes throughout it. Otherwise, just a very simple trap hi-hat, nothing too crazy. As I said, we want to leave room for the artist. In this case, Drake, right? Drake generally does not have too much going on in terms of hi-hats and drums and higher frequency sounds. As I said, again, so he can, so there's a lot more room for him. Yeah, and basically a lot of his beats are just two-step hi-hat patterns. Low end snare, so just subtle, and it doesn't have too much high end. I kind of just wanted to boost that perc/room sound, so I kind of got a snare that is almost similar to a perc/room sound. And yeah. Lastly, all I've added here was a little transition riser to kind of get the beat started, and yeah, that's about it. That's it. This is why Drake's beats are so good. They're just simple. Again, I cannot stress enough how simplicity beats overcomplication. If you do too much in a beat, generally, don't forget, we don't produce beats for producers. We produce for artists. So if you want to make it as a producer, you have to give the artist space. If you want artists to use your beat, you have to give the artist space to do their thing. If they have no space, or if there's too much going on, the artist will not be able to shine and do their thing. And yeah, that's it for the beat. I've just arranged it like this. This is the arrangement I went for. I added a little break around the 37 bar, around the 41 bar mark. Add a little break for like a verse or for like a hook, and then I kind of slowly introduced more drum sounds, and then I started the beat again. So yeah, again, as my previous video, as I said, I cannot stress enough how simplicity beats overcomplication. In this beat, all I've got is two, 4 sounds in the melodies, and just 4 drums. So in a total of 8 sounds, and 9 if you include the riser, right? I've just kept it as simple as possible, and yeah, thank you for tuning into another video. Hope you guys have learned something. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know what other style of videos you'd like to see, or what other kind of sound you want me to recreate. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. The rest of the video will be the beat, and yeah, hope you enjoy. Take care.